first actual red card suspended.
I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
As the man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. Let's see what news is concerning Arsenal with the headlines and so on and so forth. The first thing I want to speak about is Mikel Arteta's obviously together with Zinchenko ahead of Manchester United versus Arsenal, Manchester United over in America. He's obviously had his game press conference, and he's actually spoken about Partey, about Pepe, about killing Mbappe. Lol, if you think we're going to sign him. So let's see exactly what the bulk of, or in relation to this video, the bulk of what he said is concerned. As usual, please smash the like button, offer your thoughts throughout. If you haven't subscribed, you know what you need to do. On whether Thomas Partey is still in his plans, he replied, Partey is a super important player for us and for me, and we want him to be in the team, that's for sure. So that's crystal clear. As we know, anything can happen. Any player can leave any club at any time, but that tells you Partey needs to stay, and on the basis of it, he needs to stay anyways. We've lost an experienced midfielder in Granit Xhaka. We don't know how this experiment of, making Havertz an 8 is going to work. Probably Declan Rice and Partey will play together on a significant basis, as I believe long-term Rice, Havertz and Odegaard is gelling in. On one hand, I think we've upgraded our midfield, but have we necessarily strengthened our midfield? And what I mean by that is clearly Declan Rice is a level raiser, curtain raiser, fantastic signing. But are we stronger in there? Yes, we've got Rice and Partey. That gives you technical ability, that gives you physicality, that gives you dynamism. But have we replaced Granit Xhaka's goals, which he turned into a goal-scoring midfielder? And can Havertz do the dark arts, the dirty work of midfield? I don't think Xhaka will ever be praised for his defensive work, but he shows a willingness, to offer an angle for Ramsdale and stuff when he's not running forward to obviously give him the ball. He does help his wide man, his fullback and his winger, and he does put in a shift defensively. If Havertz can do all of that or learn to do all of that in the middle of the park, we're great. But have we necessarily strengthened our midfield? Please let me know in the comment section. I don't know, people, because if anything happens to Partey or Rice, we're kind of back to square one. Obviously, I'm never going to give up on my agenda to see Martin Odegaard line up in a pivot to, either him with Rice or him with Partey, as well as obviously playing in the 10. But crystal clear, as you know, Partey's been linked with numerous clubs in Italy. He's consistently linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. We'll have to revisit that. He was crystal clear. I think he's been crystal clear about Pepe in that, Pepe's future lies away from the club. But on Nicolas Pepe, he said at the moment he's recovering from an injury, which is why he's not here. So at least we've had clarity as to why he's specifically not in America. He had a spell on loan, and obviously we wanted to get much more than we got from that loan spell. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you he's disappointed with Pepe? Does that tell you he expected a lot more from Pepe? Does that tell you he expected a lot more from Pepe so that either he can make Mikel Arteta rethink his plans about letting him go or putting himself in the shop window? In an ideal world, Pepe would have lit Liga on fire on his return, had a great loan spell at Nice, and he'd have a field of offers. As we know, Pepe's on big money at this moment in time. I believe all cards got to be on the table to go out on loan again for another year, the final year of his contract, where another team takes on some of his wages and we pick up a fee. Obviously, you would like to see someone take on his wages completely and get a transfer fee and maybe even terminate his deal. Or worst case scenario is that, he hangs around like a bad smell. Once upon a time was our club record signing, is probably near the top earners of our club. I know people have come in and new deals have been signed. Financially, it doesn't make sense, but quite crystal clear. Maybe even, he's saying that so he can get a reaction from Pepe, good or bad. He said, we have to see when we come back, understand what the plans are and make the right decision for him. So he's been crystal clear about Partey. He's left that paragraph open for interpretation. That might tell you where everything lies with Pepe. He's also said on whether there'll be more transfers. I don't know. Obviously, there will be movement still. There'll be ins and outs. So he said, I don't know, but he said there'll be ins and outs. So that tells you maybe potentially Edu, Mikel Arteta and everybody in charge, they're not done in terms of recruits. Clearly, everybody knows several players are going to leave the club, whether that's on loan or permanent. It's still very early. Mikel ain't lied there. The market seems to be a little quieter in the last week or so. If we can improve the team, we'll try to do so, but we don't get any weaker, so we have to be really cautious of that as well. On Kylian Mbappe and whether he's a realistic target, which I think he's not, but anything can happen in this life, lol. You know that I never talk about players that don't play for our club. Sorry. Scrolling all the way down as well on whether Partey and Rice can actually play together. Yeah, they can play together. That was in my plans. If you want to improve the squad and have more quality, we need players that can play together, but we need players in the same position that have to fight for their places. Previously, he's spoken about having 3 great number 6s in Rice, Partey and Jorginho. Didn't list El Nene. It's something that we haven't had over the last few years, and we want to improve that. That's why we brought in Declan as well. Can't disagree. On whether he expects Partey to stay, he said yes. On if he's had any conversations with Pepe regarding his future and what his priority is, he said no. Every time I spoke to him, every time I had conversation with him, he's wanted to stay with us. So there's nothing there at all. So there you have that, realistically, people. And obviously, Mikel Arteta has spoke about several things. They even asked him about Mason Mount. He didn't really answer that. He said, we are so happy with the players that we signed and the players that we've got in our squad. Moving away from that, again, the Express has linked us with a swap deal for Caicedo of Brighton. My guess is he still goes to Chelsea, but you know, Charlie Gordon might be a bit creative with his article here. Arsenal chief Edu turning blind eye to no-brainer swap deal that would devastate Chelsea. Really? Edu could be about to turn his nose up at a golden swap deal opportunity involving Caicedo. So I've actually read that wrong. We all know we tried to sign him in January. Probably, I haven't read this article, but it's probably going to say Brighton have probably wanted to sign Balogun, and that's where the bulk of that rumor is coming from, people. So there you have it. The Seagulls are interested in a 22-year-old. And if Brighton want to buy him, we're going to get top money because somehow they'll sell him for 100 mil if he keeps developing. On that, De Zerbi has issued a hands-off warning to Chelsea and insists that Caicedo will start next season at Brighton again as they move closer to it, really and truly. So we'll have to see. Chelsea have bidded 70-80 million again. Caicedo's current employees in Brighton allegedly are holding firm on their valuation of the player and say they want 100 mil. We need to wait and see what happens with Caicedo, he said in a press conference. Then we know what we need to do. I haven't spoken with him yet, but of course I'd like him to stay. If he does leave, we need to buy another great player with the same characteristics and qualities. They're difficult to find. He's here, he's trained 3 days, but he needs time to condition. Right now there's a possibility he can leave this window. What's he worth? It's not my job to say. He'll be very difficult to replace. I have no doubts he will cope if he stays. He's a great guy, but the market isn't closed. We must wait. He won't play against Chelsea tomorrow. He's not ready yet. Maybe that's because of obviously what's going on in that regard. I would love Caicedo. Obviously, we've got Rice, we've got Partey, we've got Jorginho. I can't see us buying another number 6. Obviously, you'd imagine Jorginho, Partey, El Nene, they're not going to be at the club within the next 3-4 years, as good as they might be. And that's where Caicedo comes into it. And obviously, he can obviously play at fullback. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta, when we bidded for him in January, had some other ideas in mind of what he could do with the Ecuadorian international. But it seems like that file with Arsenal is shut, people, if I'm honest. Almost zero chance we sign Kylian Mbappe. Apparently, he's got an offer from Saudi Arabia. Again, the Madrid rumours keep going on. Apparently, Chelsea and one unnamed British club are interested as well. We won't sign not Caicedo, sorry. We won't sign Mbappe, but it would be lovely. Once again, we've been linked with Sasha Boy out of the Turkish press. With signing Timber, who probably can play in midfield, probably will play majority of his time, at least early on at fullback, maybe even centre-half, can play in midfield. Can't see us going for Sasha Boy again, people. So I'm not going to bother you, waste you lot's time reading that. Arsenal are prepared to listen to offers for young Ryan Elabosu of the under-21s. Again, a whole host of under-21s are going out on loan and departing the club. 21 years of age, can play right back. It's not going to happen here, is it, really and truly? He has been on loan spells in Crewe and Kilmarnock. Just needs to keep it moving, really and truly. It's just not going to make the grade. And as we know, Cedric Suarez has been linked with moves away. Allegedly, Villarreal, 3 top teams in Portugal, and a number of Premier League teams are eyeing up the former Portuguese international. But again, no offers have been lodged, really. Nuno Tavares, some reports have come out and quashed this, but Nuno Tavares has been linked with Paris Saint-Germain. If they want a fullback that can't defend, why not, really and truly? PSG is looking for a left back, better yet, in the market, and one of the best positioned to join the team is the Portuguese Nuno Tavares. We know there's plenty of Portuguese players at Paris Saint-Germain. I'm sure Nuno Tavares, with his days being kind of numbered at Arsenal, at least this season, in my opinion, probably would jump at the chance to go to Paris Saint-Germain, but I don't think anyone should read into that. Allegedly, we almost signed Ivan Fresneda in January, and it seems like that case file is closed. Allegedly, people. Charles Watson said he was very close to signing in January and they opted not to. He and his reps decided it was probably best to see out the season in Spain. It was put to one side. At one stage, I thought it was going to happen, and this summer they've just moved on to other targets. I think they've probably looked at the fact that they're in the Champions League. They need to really compete next season. He's talented, young, teenage fullback. What they need is someone who's slightly older, like Timber, playing over 100 times for Ajax, despite only being 22 years of age and obviously playing for Holland at the highest levels in the Euros and the World Cup. I do think I would still be on to Fresneda if there's a possibility. I think he's a quality player. So yeah, that seems like that case file is shut. What else have we got? Apparently, Vinay has been speaking about Arsenal people and about the investment. Apparently, he told Bloomberg we had in brackets last season what we considered was a successful season. We had one of the youngest squads in the Premier League. So this season they're going to add another year more experience. And this summer we've supplemented that fantastic squad with 3 new signings and the 3 positions we wanted to strengthen, the 3 players we wanted in Kai Havertz, Timber, and obviously Decky boy Declan Rice. We were delighted to get them right at the start of the window. So we have them here with us on the tour of the US. It was a heavy, significant investment, and that investment really shows the ambition of our ownership group. They've had enormous success with their franchises in the US in recent years, winning the Super Bowl, Stanley Cup, and NBA Championship. They have really supported us this window, so we'll be ready to fight for next season. And also, he spoke about why specifically, beyond the obvious, we're in America. Apparently, they're our second biggest market, people. Obviously, when you've got now Balogun on paper, Timber, Arsenal obviously have a good presence in America, again, because of our football club and the owners and the nationality our owners are from. It makes sense. Obviously, throw Austin Trusty and Matt Turner into that comment about players. The US has become our number 1 international market. So yeah, better yet, number 1, and probably second after obviously England. And we see that anecdotally, I can't say that. Every time we come to the US, we come every couple of years, been 2 years in a row. We can see the game is growing and Arsenal fans population growing, and we see it in the numbers. 20% of our retail business is in the US, people. So it makes sense from a business point of view to do that. For what it's worth, there is basically no chance Mbappe agrees to join any other club than Real Madrid this summer, if you're still keen on small hopes of killing Mbappe. Chelsea and at least one other English club are interested in signing Mbappe, as it says there. What else have we got here, people? In relation to Butello from Guillermo should receive an official proposal from Arsenal for the midfielder Butello in the coming days. However, should a move materialise, he would fail to gain a work permit in the UK. Arsenal would therefore loan the player back to Guillermo until December, or the less likely option, loan him to a European club. I mean, if we could appeal that and get him a special visa to work here, great. But 23 years of age, that has to then be one that it's a bit like Austin Trusty. We bring you here, you go out on loan, we see what we can do. If you develop and gain a work permit, great, you can play for Arsenal. If not, we make money. But that tells me that this isn't someone that, again, assuming he can't get a work permit to obviously work and live in the United Kingdom, this isn't someone that is filtering into Edu or Arteta's short-term plans of making sure we go one better last season or at a minimum where we was. And obviously, whatever we're trying to accomplish for the 2023-24 season, we'll have to monitor that closely. We have been linked with João Cancelo. Pep Guardiola, probably playing a bit of a diplomatic game, has said, Cancelo is here. João has been so important for us in the past. After the loan at Bayern, he's back here and is part of the group. So we'll see what happens. I reckon he moves on, but you can't imagine Pep Guardiola is going to say anything. Cafu on Gabriel has said, keep it up. One day your chance with Brazil will come. It didn't happen this time in the 2022 World Cup, but don't be discouraged. Things happen for a reason. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting Arsenal where you want to be, the Premier League title. Big praise from a Brazilian legend for our centre-back, people. And you hear one of the reasons he didn't get called up to Brazil is because he had a kid, really, and didn't do anything around that. Around the comments with Cafu, he's spoken about Martinelli. No doubt Martinelli would be a key player for Brazil in the future. He's already a key part of English football today with his goals. We hope he continues bringing joy to the Brazilian team and to the Brazilian people. Amen. Inter Milan, in relation to Balogun, they believe he would be the perfect investment and is their first choice striker. They are working with intermediaries to lower the price. Arsenal are asking for over 40 million euros, including bonuses. Inter hope to stay under 40 million euros, including bonuses, people. Arsenal are apparently trying to get Martin Odegaard and Benjamin White to sign new deals. Well deserved after seeing Saka, Ramsdale, Gabriel, Martinelli, Saliba, and we'll be here all day. Reece Nelson, technically, Eddie Nketiah last summer. You know, keeping and improving and retaining players in the core group is as important as bringing in the Declan Rices, the Timbers. Hopefully, Kai Havertz could be said in that realm as well, people. We've already covered Nuno Tavares going away from the club. Young keeper Arthur Okonkwo could depart. Again, on his future, a journalist has said they extended the contract of Ramsdale. The best thing is probably for the player to secure a permanent transfer elsewhere. This is the situation. So let's see where, but I think he's going to leave the club on a permanent deal in the next few days or weeks, because this is the idea of the player, and Arsenal have accepted that. Apparently, also Fabrizio Romano has spoken on that. In fact, that's his words. Can't begrudge Arthur Okonkwo. You've gone to Austria, you've gone to Crewe, you've played first team football. You're not getting ahead of Matt Turner at this moment in time. You're not getting ahead of Ramsdale for whatever reason. You haven't gone on tour with America, so to America, so that might tell you that you know, the Charlie Patinos of this world, the Brooke Norton Coffees, the Tyrese John Juleses, the Miguel Azizes, the Arthur Okonkwo's. Either their futures lie permanently away from the club or they're sorting out loans, people. We have been linked with Douglas Luiz. Apparently, we're ready to hijack Spurs' transfer on the man. Now, I think we've moved away and we need higher class targets. For what it's worth, he would be good in the squad, but it probably Spurs, if they are to get him, are close to signing him. And as you see with the journalists, they do this hijack thing. I mean, not saying again, not that anyone would want to play for Spurs, but it looks like Aston Villa, they've got Unai Emery, who's got more of a household name than the Spurs gaffer. You don't even know if you sign for Spurs if Kane's going to still be there. It seems like Aston Villa are bringing in a number of good players, so it probably makes sense to stay fit. And isn't his wife a footballer as well over them side? So there's probably that. He signed a new deal, which doesn't help Arsenal, Spurs, or even Chelsea, who have lined him up as a backup. I think we've moved away. Clearly, we bidded for him, so we know about his qualities and what at that time he could have brought to the squad. But you can probably put his case file with the Rafinhas, with the Vlahovic's, with the Mudriks, with the Caicedos, and that we tried. Ultimately, you're not playing for Arsenal Football Club. You can never say never. Once again, Cedric Suarez is on the radar of numerous European and Premier League clubs. Informal talks are understood to have taken place with his reps, and Arsenal are braced to receive an offer soon, which we hope so, really and truly. We've gone over Ivan Fresneda already. He could, apparently some reports say he's going Barcelona. Some have said he's going Bournemouth. Bournemouth have offered 17 million euros. He has a release clause of 20 million euros due to the relegation, and he could go to Bournemouth, which for Bournemouth, that would be great. He can develop, he can learn, he could be a key part of your team, if not sold on for profit to other English clubs. The aim, Arsenal really want to sell their phenomenal player to another Premier League team, allegedly according to James Baines, in relation to Balogun. Maybe it's because Premier League clubs can probably pay a bit more. The aim here is to squeeze a bit like Joe Willett. The aim here is to squeeze some of the Premier League interests out there. I know that Crystal Palace and Brighton have looked at him, and that's where the big money lies. We know that the indications are they're looking for £50 million, but if a team puts 50 million in front of Arsenal, there's a good chance that will be accepted. Fair enough with Balogun, people, who I did a video on. Make sure you're checking that out. Ben White and Odegaard will be the next two to be offered new deals, and I'm sure that will happen, that these two will get signed up. Those will certainly be the two priorities now. I don't see any concerns that these two are going to become any sort of sagas. I think both will get signed up. They'll both extend, and that's it. Hope to God, man, because they're both key parts of our team, really and truly. So it doesn't appear that there's anything new here, really. We've gone over what Mikel Arteta has said, including, Arsenal's incomings and outgoings, the futures of Partey, Pepe, what he believes on Kylian Mbappe, even though that's a myth. Obviously, we do hope that Cedric Suarez is, not that Balogun's in that realm, but Cedric Suarez, Balogun, Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga, a couple of young players in the 21s. We hope we can get some more players gone, so that obviously that brings more investment into the club. And we've spoke on Vinay and them things there. I think it's good that we've got our 3 targets in. We've been proactive to get Havertz, Timber and Rice. Obviously now we can be reactive. We can sit back, focus on outgoing, see if there's any other tweaks and changes Arteta believes he needs in the market, and any players that we didn't feel available that suddenly become available in any position that Arteta and the lads at the club deem that we need to improve. They're reactive to do such, people. So now we're in reactive mode, and it's the calm before the storm, because it's the 22nd of July of making this vid, people, and the Premier League starts next month, but the market ends in September. There's a lot of things to be done. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe. Stay blessed, stay safe, enjoy your weekend. I'm out.
He always is that active red line, defending.
I think it's like